Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Den here once again, and in today's video I am going to be explaining the ending for Resident Evil Village. That is the 8th entry in the Resident Evil franchise. Now, if you are confused of why I'm making this video, basically I am a huge Resident Evil fan, and over the past couple days I have been grinding through this game because I've been loving it so much. And yesterday I did finish the game and I enjoyed it so goddamn much. Like, the runtime was about 10 hours, but it was still really fun, and I did get a lot of enjoyment throughout all the twists and turns, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to make a video explaining the ending. So if you are new around here, be sure to hit that subscribe button to basically be up to date with all the nerdy content that I do produce on the channel. That is mainly Doctor Who, but I do a few other stuff such as video games, comics, and movies. So with that being said, let's explain the ending for Resident Evil Village. So essentially the entire concept of this game is we basically continue with the story of Ethan Winters, who was the protagonist of Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, and in that game he had to save his wife from this parasite known as Evelyn, but she was basically a bioweapon that corrupted this family called the Bakers. And yeah, you kind of already know what happened in that game if you're tuning in to this one. But yeah, this game is set 3 years after Resident Evil 7, and Ethan is kind of kidnapped by Chris Redfield and he tries to move Ethan to a remote facility to get tests on him and his daughter Rose for an unknown reason. And it looks like Mia is gunned down in the beginning of the game, but that's not the case. But anyway, throughout the game, Ethan has to fight these lords in this village in order to get pieces of his daughter to stop the ceremony where the mother Miranda, who is the main boss of the game, and to stop her from doing the ceremony where she uses Ethan's daughter Rose as a template to bring back her daughter Eva, who died of the Spanish flu several years ago. Now, obviously, Mother Miranda is like the overarching villain, so we don't see her much later on. But throughout the game, we do get, little explanations to why Chris killed Mia and all of the other stuff that happened in the game. So Chris did explain that the Mia that was killed wasn't actually Mia herself. It was Mother Miranda, who has the ability to change herself into anyone that she wants. And she has been injecting herself with the mold from Resident Evil 7. And that, Chris did try to steal Rose in order to protect her, as, they thought that Ethan was infected. But anyway, as the conclusion of the story happens, Ethan is killed by Mother Miranda, or so we think. Essentially, Miranda rips out Ethan's heart after Ethan finishes fighting with Heisenberg. That is one of the final lords that you fight in the game. And Miranda then carries on with the ceremony, and then you go into playing as Chris Redfield. And now this is where the action gets a little bit Call of Duty based, but Chris ends up finding Mia alive and well, and then we get flung back as Ethan. But didn't Ethan die? He had his heart ripped out, and through some hallucinations we do get reunited. Well, say reunited. We get a confrontation with Evelyn, who was the antagonist in the previous Resident Evil game, Resident Evil 7, and we learn from her that Ethan actually died at the beginning of Resident Evil 7. So this does prove that a popular fan theory about Ethan, that he was infected with a mold at the very beginning of Resident Evil 7, and now with his heart ripped out, the mold's taken over his body. So Ethan decides to essentially, come back to life and save Rose and stop Mother Miranda once and for all. Now, after this climactic boss fight with Mother Miranda, we have a very sad moment where Ethan decides to sacrifice himself to allow Chris Redfield, Mia, and his daughter Rose to escape in the chopper, and he takes the detonator and takes Mother Miranda with him. And with this huge explosion, Ethan is no longer with us. And in the final moments of Resident Evil 8, Chris does say that he wants to get revenge on the Connections, who are the crime syndicate group that are trying to create and sell bioweapons. So that's very interesting. But then there's one final thing to touch upon, and that is the post-credit scene, where we get a little flash forward, well, I'll say a little, it could be a huge time jump, to where Rose is now a teenager, where she is laying flowers on her father's grave, who is obviously Ethan, before she is met by an agent who seems to try winding her up by calling her Evelyn. That definitely rubs her up the wrong way, and it does look like that in the next Resident Evil game, or perhaps story DLC for this one, we could end up playing as Rose, and that would be very interesting because she is in fact a bioweapon, so we could be moving on from the whole playing as humans, and we could be playing as an actual bioweapon. That would be very interesting, and it could mean we could move forward from traditional weapon combat to maybe some psychological combat, maybe some magic, stuff like that. We don't know, but there is some very interesting stuff going on there. But yeah, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is the ending explained for Resident Evil 8 Village. I actually thought it was a really good ending. If you have played the game, be sure to let me know in the comment section of this video if you enjoyed the ending, and are you excited to see the story being continued in Resident Evil 9 that probably won't be released for another 3 to 4 years. So we've got a bit of a long wait now, but I guess we'll see what happens. But yeah, be sure to subscribe for more nerdy content, and I'll see you all on my next video. Goodbye for now.